So here we will start with the first chapter, that is the basics of measurement. In this chapter we will study the basic measurement, what is the measurement and its types, what are various types of instruments, what are various characteristics of instruments, and what are the various errors and their types that may occur while measuring any quantity. Here are some more contents that we will study in this chapter, that is the measurement and its two methods, that are direct and indirect method with its example. Next is the type of instrument, characteristics of instruments, errors of instruments, loading effect, and importance of standards. All these contents we will study in this first chapter. First, here we will start with the measurement. What is the measurement? Actually, measurement is basically the comparison of unknown value with the known value. In this, physical parameter can be converted into numerical value. For example, we can take length is the physical parameter, and after measurement, the length we can estimate it as 1 meter, 2 meter in kilometers. That is the numerical value that have converted after measurement. Actually, measurement is of two types. First one is the direct method and second one is the indirect method. Indirect method, you have to compare the unknown quantity with the known quantity. For example, while measuring the height of a man, the height is the physical parameter, and after measurement, this height has to be converted into its units. For example, 170 centimeter is the height of this person that has shown in this particular slide. This is also the method of direct measurement. Here a vernier caliper is measuring the length of the screwdriver. This is also the direct method because the length of the screw has been compared with the vernier caliper. That is the standard, that has the known scale reading from where we can compare the length of that particular screw. Next is the indirect method. In indirect method, the quantity to be measured is not measured directly, but other parameters related to quantity has to be measured. For example, if we talk about the power, we know that P is equal to VI. And if we want to measure power of any signal, then firstly we have to measure its voltage, and then secondly we will measure current, and after making product of V into I, we can calculate power. This is the indirect method. Either measuring power directly, we will measure power indirectly by measuring voltage and current. Next is the types of instrument. Instrument may be of two types, absolute instrument and secondary instrument. First one is the absolute instrument. Actually, absolute instrument gives their readings in terms of instrument constant and their deflection only. Absolute instrument gives their readings in terms of instrument constant and their deflection. For example, tangent galvanometer. This slide shows the image of tangent galvanometer. Here we will see the deflection of the needle and the instrument constant. Then we will multiply both of these, and this will give the reading. Second is the secondary instrument. In this instrument, quantity being measured can only be measured by observing the output by the instrument. by observing the output of this voltmeter as shown in the slide. This will give the value of voltage. Same like ammeter, by observing the pointer where it can hold it like 5 ampere, 10 ampere, 15 ampere. This will shows the amount of current that has been passed in the particular circuit. Next is the types of secondary instrument. Further, secondary instruments are of three types. First one is the indicating instrument, second one is the recording instrument, third one is the integrating instrument. First come here is the indicating instrument. As the name indicates, indicating instrument gives their reading by giving the pointer indication. This gives the instantaneous value. The quantity being under measurement is the instant value that we can observe by observing the pointer position. Their indications are given by pointers moving over calibrated scale. In this, as shown in the figure, the pointer calibrates over the scale, and where it stops itself, we will observe that reading. In its examples, we may take ammeter, voltmeter, and wattmeter. These are its examples. This is the indicating instrument that indicates its reading. Next is the recording instrument. These are the type of secondary instruments that maintain a particular record of the quantity over a selected period of time. That maintains the record of the quantity over a selected period of time. For example, recording voltmeter used in supply station. These are the recording instruments. Its name itself indicates they have to maintain a record for a particular time. Next is the integrating instruments. As shown in this slide, this is the picture of energy meter used for domestic purpose. In this integrating instrument, the total amount of electrical energy that we have consumed for a particular period of time, for a month or a 2 month, it takes the record of that particular reading. This is the type of integrating instrument. It is called ampere hour meters or energy meters. Next is the characteristics of instruments. There are various types of characteristics that an instrument has. First one is the accuracy, second one is the precision, next is the range, resolution, and sensitivity. First comes with the accuracy. Accuracy is the degree of closeness, as shown in the diagram, as shown in the picture. The black dots shows the degree of the closeness to the center point of the circles, or we can say it is the nearness to the true value of the quantity. If we have to hit at the center, then accuracy will be the nearness to the true value or the center, that is the actual value there where we have to hit. This is the accuracy. Next is the precision. Precision is the repeatability of an instrument, that while hitting the true value, it is giving a reading other than the true value, but again and again it repeats their location or reading or target. If I give its definition, a precision instrument indicates that the successive readings would be very close to each other, but far from the true value. As shown by the black dots, they are far from the center circle, red circle, that is the main target of a reading, but it has deviated from its main target and hit repeatedly at the same point or around its location. That is the precision. Here is the major difference between accuracy and precision. The first image shows low accuracy and low precision because the black dots shows here the random hit or random readings, which shows the low accuracy, also the low precision. The image below the first image shows the low precision but high accuracy because it is around the center position where we have to hit. The image just adjacent to the first image shows the low accuracy but high precision because it had hit repeatedly at the same position or near to that, but it is away from the center position. So that means it has low accuracy but high precision. The last image shows the high accuracy and high precision because it has hit at the center position as the black dots shows. High accuracy with high precision. Next is the sensitivity. Sensitivity is just the change in output as the input changes. Sensitivity is nothing, just the change in output with the change in input. That is the sensitivity of an instrument. Next is the resolution and range. Actually, resolution is the smallest change in the input quantity which can be detected by the instrument. That is the resolution of that particular instrument. Any input small change that an instrument can detect or measure, that will be the resolution of that particular instrument. Next is the range. From minimum to maximum readings that an instrument can take, that will be the range of that particular instrument. In this image, a calibrated scale has been shown in the instrument. The 0 is the minimum range and maximum it can measure up to 20 ampere current because it is an ammeter, and a straight line just below the A symbol shows it is a DC ammeter because straight line is the symbol of DC. It is the DC ammeter. Next is the errors. Error is just the difference between the measured value and the true value. Difference between the measured value and the true value. If you have to find out the percentage error, then this is the formula, that is the measured value minus true value divided by true value. This is the error in percentage. Errors are of three types. First one is the gross error, second is the systematic error, and third one is the random error. Gross error occurs due to human mistake. As while taking measurement, we can take a wrong reading. This is the gross error. Other reasons may be parallax error, as you can see in the picture. Three persons are taking readings at the same time but at the different location, and they will observe the different readings. Slight change in their readings may occur. Next is the incorrect reading from the instrument. Next is the improper recording of the readings. All these may be the reasons that may be the cause of gross errors that comes by the human mistakes. Next is the systematic error. Systematic error is the inherent error that occurs in the instrument while it's manufacturing. Other is the environmental error, that a temperature or a humidity that may affect the proper working of the instrument, that comes under the systematic error. Next is the random error. The cause of such error is unknown or not determinable in the ordinary process of making measurement. Such errors are normally small and follows the laws of chance because its cause is unknown. Next is the sources of error. Any source of error may occur like poor design, poor maintenance, insufficient knowledge of process parameters and design conditions, errors caused by people while taking the readings or using the instrument, and certain design limits may also cause the error. Next is the limiting error. Limiting error is the limit of the error that the manufacturer had set after manufacturing it. Because after manufacturing any instrument, the designer or manufacturer tested it whether it is working properly or not, and if the instrument gives the error, then the manufacturer specify on the instrument that this is the limit of the error. For example, if I have a resistance of 5.7 kilo ohm within limiting error of plus minus 10%. Plus minus 10% means 10% of 5.7 kilo ohm. That means this resistance may deviate from its exact value, that is this 5.7 kilo ohm. It may deviate from 5.13 kilo ohm to 6.27 because manufacturer have limit the error of this resistance, that is the plus minus 10%. This is the type of a limiting error. Next is the loading effect. Loading effect of any instrument is the incapability of the system or a instrument to faithfully measure or record or control the input signal in undistorted form. That is the loading effect. As shown in this diagram, while taking voltage drop across resistance R2, we will put the voltmeter externally parallel in with the resistance R2, and it will measure the voltage drop across R2, but as we have put it in parallel with the R2, it will also make its internal resistance in parallel with the resistance R2. That effect is known as loading effect. The voltage that this voltmeter will measure will slightly deviate from its exact value or true value. That is the loading effect. Next is the importance of standards and calibration. Standard is defined as something that is set up and established by an authority as rule of measure of quantity. For example, a meter is standard established by an international organization for measurement of length. They help in minimizing the error in measurement systems. These are some types of standards, that is the international standard that has been accepted internationally. Next is the primary standard. National standard are the primary standards. By comparing the readings of the two instruments, the accuracy of the second instrument can be determined in this category. Next is the secondary standards. The value of the secondary standard quantity is less accurate than the primary standard one. Calibration of second standard is made by comparing the result with the primary standard actually. Next is the working standard. These are used to calibrate general laboratory and field instruments for accuracy and performance. For example, manufacturers of electronic component use these standards for checking the component value being manufactured. Next is the calibration. Calibration is the comparison between a known measurement or a value or a standard and the measurement using your instrument. That is the calibration. It is used to check the accuracy of an instrument, whether the instrument that has been manufactured is working accurately or not. Typically, the accuracy of the standard should be 10 times the accuracy of the measuring device being tested. In practice, calibration also includes a repair of the device if it is out of calibration. Next is the why calibration is important. Because obviously, if we talk about any type of instrument, if it is not working accurately, then we have to calibrate it properly so that it can work properly. The accuracy of all measuring devices degraded over time as we use our instrument, and by passing time, its quality of giving its output will degrade with time. This is typically caused by normal wear and tear. Depending upon the type of instrument and the environment in which it is being used, it may degrade very quickly. The bottom line is that calibration improves the accuracy of the measuring device. When should you calibrate your measuring device? A measuring device should be calibrated according to the recommendation of the manufacturer. After any mechanical or electrical shock, periodically, annually, quarterly, or monthly, we should calibrate our measuring device. As shown in this diagram, a car after driving thousands kilometers needs a calibration for its proper working, proper maintenance. We should need a calibration. This is the first chapter, that is the basics of the measurement, and we have studied the various instruments in this video lecture. All the contents we have covered till now, that what is the measurement, direct method, indirect method, and I am very sure that you have a brief idea now from this video. Thank you.